Hey everyone, this is Mr. Pacini. This is my super late video. Uh, sorry, Miss Lewis, you can take late points off. Um, Again, I'm Mr. Pacini. I think I know all the students, but in case I don't know any of the parents, that's me. I've got three daughters, Charlotte, Evelyn, and Grace, and that's my wife, Mary. Um, yeah, and I wanted to talk about Costa Rica's currency and some of the history behind it because I think it's pretty fascinating, and I teach history, so that's kind of my thing. Um, so this is the currency. This is the Costa Rican colon, or the plural of that is colones. These are some of the bills. You can see they're really colorful. Really, they make great souvenirs after the trip. But I want to talk about some of the history behind the colones, kind of, where it got its name from anyway, and then just some of a little bit of the history of Costa Rica. So first off, we begin with the Diki. I don't know that I'm pronouncing that correctly, so just you know, bear with me on that one. But the Diki are the largest indigenous group of Costa Rica. They're the most prominent, and their name means great waters. Something that's crazy about the Diki, they made these stone spheres you can see on the right. I'll show you a picture of them on the next slide as well. But something I found really interesting. So these stone spheres range in size from like an inch to, I think the biggest is a little bit over 8 feet. But what's crazy about it is I read that in the biggest spheres, the 8 foot spheres, they're accurate spherically down to 2 millimeters. And using modern technology, you could not get a stone that accurately cut unless it was done with the use of lasers. So, and if we didn't have lasers for whatever reason, if you try to use any other available technology today, you would not be able to make these stones this accurate. Now, that's not true of all the stones. Some of the stones aren't as accurate, and you can see this one in this image has a little bit of weathering as well. But the ones I'm talking about they've unearthed them, like they were buried and protected. So anyway, I think it's really cool. Another cool thing about that is the granite that these stones are made from, not found anywhere near the locations where these were discovered. So that's another mystery, is how did these rocks get here? There's a lot of speculation about connections to Easter Island, if you know about those giant stone monolith face things. So anyway, I didn't see any of these last time. I don't know if we'll be in the area. I'll show you a map in a second where to look for those, but keep a lookout for them when we're there. The other thing the Diki are famous for is goldsmiths. You can see in the bottom right picture, that's one of their pendants that they created, and this plays an important role in the history, which we'll get to in soon. But the Diki Society started in around 700 AD, lasted till about 1535. The interesting thing, at their peak, they stretched from southern Costa Rica all the way down to like Colombia, I think, which is interesting. We'll talk too about why their society starts to fall off in the 1530s. On the upper left, you can see a map of Costa Rica, and that circle is where the spheres are found in the Diki Delta. So it's southern Costa Rica. I'm not sure, what our itinerary is, if we'll even be traveling there. But anyway, I want to show you a couple more images of these spheres because they're really interesting. The bottom left shows you one that was unearthed, and you can see the top was sticking out. Then they dug the whole thing out. And so this is how they know some of these spheres can be super accurate. You can see the ones that were left out, obviously, some of these were made 1,500 years ago or something. So they've experienced quite a bit of weathering. So those ones are not going to be accurate, down to the millimeter. But anyway, something to keep an eye out for. Okay, so what is this? What do the Diki have to do with the rest of this conversation about currency? Well, we're going to get to that. So in 1502, Columbus landed in Costa Rica on one of his voyages, and the Diki brought him some of those gold trinkets, like the one I showed you, that pennant I showed you earlier. And because of that, Columbus named Costa Rica, and he named it Costa Rica, which means rich coast. that's how the Diki and their goldsmith ties in. But there's another tie-in here, and that's the name of the currency. So in English, we say Christopher Columbus, but in Spanish, his name's Cristobal Colon, and that is where the name of Costa Rica's currency comes from. It's the colones named after Christopher Columbus. Okay, so the exchange rate is as follows. It's about 629 colones to $1 last I checked, although this year's crazy inflation numbers might have messed with that. But it's a pretty good rule of thumb. The colones come in the bills mostly come in like thousands of some kind. So 20 mil billete is the 20,000 colones bill, and it's worth about $32. And then the 10 mil billete is worth about $16. And you basically just divide by 2 from there, and you can figure out like down to the 5,000 colones bill being worth about $8. So these are the common bills you'll see. There's other coins. I'm not going to get into everything, but you'll see there's other coins as well, and there's smaller bills than this too. But that's a pretty good rule of thumb for how much to spend out. We had a bunch of students get really confused by this, so I wanted to help with some of that, because I think sometimes kids were spending like way too much on a pair of flip-flops or something because they didn't understand the exchange rate. Last piece of information is really helpful to know is that you don't need to go to the bank actually to exchange your dollars, like if you visited other foreign countries, because they'll accept US dollars almost everywhere. The one thing like I was saying, they don't always tell you the price in US dollars, and I think that sometimes, is on purpose because then you don't really know how much you're spending. But some places they will say how much it costs, and you can always ask, especially if your Spanish is good. But they'll often give change in colones. All right, I'm super excited to see everybody, super excited to go on this trip. Hope you all are all doing well.